You all know that SA will be having their general election coming this May, okay? And one of their hottest opposition parties, we mostly know them from social media, Mr. Malema from EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters. Well, there's a news about him, and it was shared by MDN News, okay? So they have this to say. This says, Malema, I'm not depressed to become president of South Africa. I'm depressed to unite the African continent, and if that unity will cost me votes, you can take your votes. I don't want xenophobic votes and haters. Wow. So that was a post from MDN News on X, their page on X. So they say that Malema says that he don't want your votes. He don't care losing votes because he's desperate to unite Africa, not just desperate to become president of South Africa. Okay. So if you don't agree with him, if you are xenophobic or haters, he doesn't want your votes.
You will rather not vote for me. I am not desperate to become president of South Africa. I am desperate to unite the African continent. And if the unity of my people is going to cost me votes, you can take your votes. I don't want xenophobic votes. I don't want the votes of haters. Yeah, man.
Well, that was a very bold statement from Malema there. Man really literally say that on a rally that he doesn't care what your stand is. Man is not here just only for South Africa, but he's here for Africa. I think I can sense some kind of enchroma in him, okay? Man is really up to that. And I think he really sees something that we don't see. But some South Africans were kind of really not having it, okay? Under the comment section, when MDN News shared this post, some South Africans were really not having it because they were really saying a lot of different things. But I don't really know what happened that will make Malema make this kind of statement. What South Africans, what is going on in your political system? What made Malema really share such a news or say boldly in a rally that he doesn't care about South Africa or being desperate about South African presidency? Man is literally in here to unite Africa and then unite the whole continent and make sure Africa is one. That's mostly his agenda. So if he doesn't, or you don't vote for him, he doesn't care about your vote. And he really stated that he doesn't want xenophobics and haters votes. Man really said that, as he's saying in the video. Okay, so what will really make him really have this anger or this to say this in such a manner? Okay, why are South Africans? Under the comment section, let me see what really inspired or what really brought this whole kind of debate that made him to speak like that. Okay, well, under the comment section of MDN News, this South African or how South African took this news. Okay, so to our first comment, this guy came in and says, so Julius Malema thinks the unity of so-called Africans must be at high cost of South Africans, rather keep sacrificing South Africans. All right, so this is what this guy says. He says, so Malema thinks that the unity of Africans, or his so-called African unity that he wants to do, should really be at the cost of South Africans. Man doesn't really understand why. He thinks that man is in there for South Africa, not knowing that, bro, it's really a pro Kwame Nkrumah here. Man want to connect Africa into one. Okay, another South African also shared this post and says, I love all good Africans in SA, on the rest of the African continent and in diaspora. But when we are talking SAN national elections, we need leaders who put SANs first before anyone else. If the EFF is about Africa first, then they must focus on that and leave SAN local politics. All right, that's what this guy wants to say. He says that if the EFF thinks that Africa unity is a must and it's so much important to them, then they must really start somewhere and go for African unity. But they should leave the local political issues of South Africa for them, because these people want the betterment of South Africa first. They are not ready for African unity right now. No, they don't care about Africa being united. They don't care, but they really want South Africa to be saved. That's what some citizens think, okay? So Malema claiming to unite Africa, they think that it's a good idea, but it's not the right time. That's what the South Africans think, okay? So lastly, out of the comment section, this one also came and had this to say, okay? He says, unite the African continent somewhere else. Well, it seems that this one was not really having it, okay? She was not really having it. He says, Malema should unite Africa somewhere else. Shouldn't be at the cost of South Africans, as the other one says. South Africans really understand African unity, but they don't want it in their land. They are really wanting some betterment for South Africa first. And I agree with them on this one, okay? If you're really talking about Africa, this is local election, not African elections. Why should being United Africa even be part of the agenda? It's a good idea, though. We should all know that this is your agenda, but basically, there's a local politics right now. You are not yet liberated from, or you are winning the local politics that you are aiming for the whole continent, okay? So Malema should rather concentrate on winning the South African election before he can think on something else, okay? But because this statement have really made him lose a lot of sympathizers, okay? Because I mostly knew him from social media, how South Africans were praising him, just like the Nigerians were doing to Peter Obi, okay? Nigerians were sharing Peter Obi everywhere, where and there, wherever you go, about the Nigerian elections. We all thought that Peter Obi might win, but end up did something differently. So I also been seeing South Africans pushing Malema everywhere you go, saying all the sort of things about him, sharing him up and all, and now these people are feeling some kind of this way and saying this about him. I think Malema really needs to understand his PR and knows where and when and what to say, because it's good to unite South Africa, but as I said, you have to first take care of the people first, and that's South Africans, okay? Well, lastly, this person also came in and says, will you people rather vote for someone who will tell them the truth about where he stands on issues, or vote for one that lies to you? Goes on to do complete opposite after you vote for them. At least Malema is telling you the truth. That is the man to vote for. All right, this is what this person also thinks. He thinks that as Malema have been so openly to you people to tell his stance about Africa and how he sees Africa to be, and his mainly plan for Africa, he thinks that he is so honest to the extent that he deserves to be given the mentor, rather than choosing those men in coats or in suits that are always looking decent and finding so many ways to fabricate lies, to do more propagandas, to do more promises, and also being voted based on tribal lines, political affiliations, and so-called. So those people, he thinks that giving Malema a chance is way better than listening to those old folks, okay? So as a South African, this is on to you guys. You guys are the one who be at the polling station coming May, okay? What do you guys think about this Malema's statement, and what do you also expect that he was? Are you disappointed in him though? And also, do you think that you give him a chance to giving him the presidency of South Africa? Okay, under the comment section, let me see what you think. And also to my fellow Africans too, do you also think that Malema should have first worked out about his South African people first before thinking about the whole African thing? Because, bro, Africa is a whole headache on its own. And South Africa is one headache too. So we must really be ready for South Africa and know how to handle South Africa well before moving to Africa. And Nkrumah tried to do the same, and man, them end up getting overthrown before even uniting Africa. So I think Malema really needed to up his game more, because it's not always about saving Africa. It's about making sure your back or your people are really behind you. That's one mistake I think Nkrumah did. Man thought he had been able to liberate Ghana so he can do it for the whole Africa, not knowing that as he left Ghana, his own people staged coup against him and get him out the throne, okay? So Malema really needs to make sure that the people of South Africans are somehow okay before you can start thinking like that, okay? But to you too, under the comment section, let me see what you also think, okay? So this is what I found on X about South African politics and what is matters arising of South African election coming on May, okay? My name is Rashia Say, and this is your favorite African blog page of African news. See you guys around.